Today, there are two women in particular I'd like us to celebrate. And I'm always fond of looking at how does the history and legacy of those forefathers and foremothers that come before us impact us in our present day. The first person actually is a present day example. I'd like to share with you and invite you to celebrate with me Dr. Hadiya Nicole Green. Now, some of you may have heard of her in her recent medical discovery, but Dr. Green is a principal investigator with the Morehouse School of Medicine and Department of Surgery. She is one of the first African-American women to earn a PhD in physics and holds the distinction of being only the second African-American woman and the fourth African-American to receive a PhD in physics from the University of Alabama. And for those of us, just as a side note, who are in this body who belong to Delta Sigma Theta sorority, she is also a member, a proud member. So notably, Dr. Green developed a cancer treatment that uses lasers and nanotechnology to kill cancer. Her first trial demonstrated success in using mice in just 15 days after a single 10-minute treatment dose. So what does this do for us? Coming off the heels of our fundraising for Massey Cancer Center, for those of us who have been impacted and know others who are living with or who have lost their lives to cancer, this breakthrough is incredible. To be able to use nanotechnology to focus on the actual cell that is carcinogenic, rather than traditional current treatments that kill all cells. And anyone who is familiar with what chemo and radiation and all those treatments do, we have witnessed or learned about the suffering that happens. So I am excited about that wonderful discovery, but it wouldn't have been possible without the first woman that I want to mention, and that woman is Henrietta Lacks. Now, some people also may be familiar with Henrietta, but many people don't know what her true contribution to our medical and health care industry has been.
The House will come to order.
This one is a woman in the 1950s who arrived at Johns Hopkins with bleeding and was admitted shortly thereafter to treat cervical cancer. Now, what makes Henrietta Lacks so important to all of us is that her cancer cells were deemed to be immortal. Most cells die shortly after harvesting. Hers continue to replicate at very fast numbers. So her cells are responsible for the research for the polio vaccine, for our HPV vaccine, and even was used to help with the vaccination for the coronavirus. Now, the flip side of this, everything has a bright side and a shadow side. The shadow side, which also helped us to do protections in the medical space, was that her cells were taken without her permission or her consent or even her knowledge and used to do work in the medical field. Today, we have consent and acknowledgement that's required. There's still work to be done to make her family whole in this space, but we owe her a debt of gratitude, and I invite you to celebrate and learn more about Henrietta Lacks and Dr. Green as we celebrate Women's History Month. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.